For somebody that comes from a really high, fast charging, very driven environment of political fundraising, of private equity, entrepreneurship, sales management, my views on goals actually surprise a lot of people. I'm going to dive into what I think about goals and two of the most common mistakes that I see people making that are holding them back. Let's dive in. Hey, what's up? I'm Ray Green, former executive turned nomad entrepreneur, and I've been part of a lot of very hard charging environments, like political fundraising, election fundraising, private equity turnarounds, sales management, entrepreneurship, you name it. And I think there's two really common mistakes that I see most people making when it comes to setting goals. And the first one is not setting goals in the first place. We are, as humans, naturally goal-striving machines. We are bred and born to be moving towards a goal. And what I mean by that is, if you are moving towards a goal that you really give a shit about, right? It's a really meaningful goal to you, it's almost impossible to burn out if you are making progress towards it. So if you're moving towards somebody else's goal, as an employee, and you're building somebody else's dream and you're working 60 or 80 hours a week, you look at that and you go, oh, this sucks, right? It's really easy to burn out. If you're building your dream and you're working 60 hours a week and you're seeing progress towards that dream happen, you keep going. That shit just feeds you. You just keep going. And if you want a sense of fulfillment and you want a sense of purpose and you want happiness, then what you need to do is you need to have a target that you've got set on something. It doesn't have to be a revenue goal or a sales goal or a money goal. And if you look at most people who are unhappy, who are depressed, who are unfulfilled, don't have a sense of purpose, you ask them, what's meaningful? What are you moving towards? What is really, really important to you? What's your goal? What is your main goal right now? They can't tell you, which is why I think as human beings, we're just naturally goal-striving machines. So if you're not setting one in the first place, you're not really clear about where you're going, and you're not really clear about what's important to you, the likelihood of being unfulfilled, burnt out, frustrated, depressed, or whatever it is, incredibly high. Now, the second mistake that I see with people setting goals is setting goals that are too high. Okay. Now, I know a lot of people that will tell you, shoot for the moon and you hit the stars. But let me tell you how that plays out. If you want to write a book, for example, and you say, all right, my goal this year is to write a book. You know what I'm going to do this week? I'm going to write 2 chapters. 2 chapters seems really hard. I don't know if I can actually do it, but if I just get 4 pages, I'll be happy. You set the goal. You say, this week, I've got to write 2 chapters. You know what actually happens most of the time? You never start, because the goal intimidates you. And if you do start, you don't give it all. You just kind of half-ass it, you phone it in. And the reason you do that is because you want to be able to say subconsciously, well, I didn't hit the goal, but I didn't really try that hard. I didn't give it my all. So I didn't really miss the goal. We don't want to feel like losers. No one wants to feel like a loser. When you set goals that are too ambitious, when you set goals that are unattainable, when you set goals that are unrealistic, you may get some effort, but you never get 100% of somebody's discretionary effort if the goals are unattainable, and everybody knows it. Because no one, especially a salesperson, wants to give their all, leave it on the field, and miss. Which is why oftentimes setting goals that are low, very attainable, very realistic, in fact, maybe easy, incentivizes a lot of people to work their ass off and to give all of their discretionary effort. So when you have a big goal, a really big ambitious goal, what you need to do is you need to break it down into bite-sized pieces. And then you need to look at that and you need to say, what is the most attainable goal that I can set that is going to incentivize me or my team or whoever to actually give their effort, to not be intimidated to start, to not be intimidated to give their all, and not feel like a loser. The other reason that this works, especially with sales teams, so this is really important, is you need to create in your business, if you're running a business or a sales team, you need to create a culture of winning. You need to create a culture of hitting goals. You need to make sure that when you set a goal, that is the goal. And if you miss that goal, there are problems. That it is unacceptable to not hit goals. You can't do that when you're setting goals that are unrealistic. You can't do that when you're setting goals in the executive room or the boardroom. Hey, let's set it at 200% of what we think they're going to do. That way, if they fall short, they hit just 100%, we're going to get everything we want. It's not how it works. But worse, you set a standard in your organization or with yourself. If these are personal goals, you set a standard for missing goals. And what you need to do is you need to believe that when a goal is set, that goal is going to get hit. And the only way to do that is to start with very attainable, if not easy goals, and establish we are going to hit these numbers. Every single time when we commit and we agree to these numbers, we are going to hit them. Shooting for the moon, hitting the stars is a bad way to set goals. What you need to do is you need to set targets that you know you can hit. They are realistic, they are attainable, they can be hit. And then the standard and the culture and the self-talk is, that's the goal, we're going to nail it. And this isn't just me talking. If you actually rewind the clock, you go back to IBM when it was the 800-pound gorilla in multiple industries. Like, it was the behemoth at the time. And their sales team was world renowned for absolutely crushing goals, for absolutely killing it. And you know what IBM did? They set low goals because what they wanted to do is they wanted their sales reps to feel like winners. They hired the right people. Like, you don't want to hire lazy people that once they hit their goal, then they phone it in. You hire the right people, they come in, they hit their goal. You have the right incentive structure beyond that goal. Now you've got a win-win. You've got an environment where the team is killing it. They feel excellent. They're making money and the company is crushing it. I would argue, dial back your goals, make them easier to hit, establish the habit and the pattern and the culture of hitting goals, and then slowly ratchet those up. I did this once with a team for political fundraising. We went 10 years in a row through different election cycles, economic recession, you name it, and we crushed our numbers every single year. You know why? Because once we established that we hit our numbers, as we started to ratchet it up and get more aggressive, the culture was we do not miss, and we never missed. It's the way that I look at goals in my business. It's the way that I look at goals in the sales teams that I've run. I know it's not what everybody believes, but it has served me incredibly well for the past 20 years, personally and professionally. So I want to pass it on to you. Hope it helps in some ways. If you have some other ideas on goal setting and how you're leveraging goals or how you set them to make sure that you set yourself up and your business up for success, drop them in the comments below. I'd love to hear. Adios.